Alrighty. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the League of Legends Tower Dive Weekly number 41. I'm Gil Frost, and this is Achilleos, and we're going to be bringing you the picks and bans right now. First ban out here for Team Blue, it's going to be Blitzcrank.
Very, very standard ban. We've been seeing Blitzcrank just about every single match in the last couple of weeks here. It's still just... People are just scared of the Blitzcrank. They just don't like the hooks, man. It's like Blitz and Thresh. They just... Every single game you see them just gone. No one likes to go against that stuff. I don't know. It's not that very difficult to counter in my opinion, but people just don't want to have to deal with it, I guess.
Yeah, I guess in the solo queue you get a little afraid of whether or not your teammates can counter it more than you. But either way, Caitlyn and Nunu actually bans coming out here on the side of Team Purple. The Nunu ban pretty expected, I guess. Caitlyn not as much.
Well, I'm going to assume that by banning out Caitlyn here, Purple Team's looking to pick up Vayne.
Yeah.
Typical ban if you're looking to pick up that Vayne pick, just because she's got such a short range. Caitlyn kind of just crushes her if you get a good Caitlyn in there. So looks like they might be trying to go for that Vayne bot lane, but at the same time, getting rid of Nunu, that Vayne Nunu lane, very powerful. So we could get surprised here and see what they're going to do. But it looks like Blue Team picking up that Twisted Fate ban finally here with Zed as well. So interesting bans coming out here.
It is indeed. I think the most interesting part about that Caitlyn ban is, I mean, they are not going to have first pick. So if Blue Team does want to pick up that Vayne, that could be a huge pickup for them. That they will then not have to worry about that Caitlyn as well. So as we are seeing that last ban, it is Karthus, and so that first pickup, Thresh there left open, and we'll see here if that Vayne is going to come true here.
All right, so we see like they wanted to get rid of the potential other hook in the game and pick up that Thresh so they have one of their own. Thresh just really, really powerful right now. Huge, like pick ban rate in the LCS. And I don't think that we're going to be seeing that get lowered anytime. Looks like they're playing around right now with Vayne Karma, which could be interesting if that is a support Karma. Very, very interesting bot lane. It could be very aggressive. That Karma shield gives Vayne so much ability to just go in and just kind of +4 into the enemy and just rip them to shreds. So we'll see if they're gonna lock this in here.
See if they like this. I would expect not. Probably more of a supportive support anyway. There is I'm sure Vayne will want to farm up a little bit more, and yeah, there we go. The disengage from that Zyra would be a little more realistic there.
Oh, I was so happy though. I wanted to see that Karma play.
See that. Yeah. Well, hey, we've got what, seven more picks. Maybe we'll see it here as it goes over to the Blue Team once more.
Taking their time here. Looks like they're really thinking about this. As we can see, the Blue Team they have a pretty set team here. All of them general something. So it looks like they're really trying to synergize here, make sure that they get a good comp set up, make sure that they're really, thinking about their lanes. They don't want to just say, oh, I play this all the time, so I'll go this guy. It looks like they're really trying to work something out to make sure that their whole team is going to flow together and be able to kind of counter-engage this Vayne here. And looks like we're going to have a team, possibly a team. Oh, but this guy's going to jump around a little bit. So maybe we won't see the world's most annoying Yordle in the game. And it looks like he's going to go ahead and block Renekton right there.
Renekton makes a little bit more sense anyway. So, we'll likely see him in the top lane and maybe a jungle Elise, although that does give them a little bit of flexibility as they can go into different lanes fairly easily. As two quick covers there as we do have Lee Sin locked in there.
Ooh, okay. Lee Sin, extremely powerful. I know I know a lot of professional players say that if you want to get to Diamond, just solo queue Lee Sin all day and you'll get there, in no time. He's just really, really strong right now. A lot of people also say, like, if you know how to play Lee Sin, there's absolutely no counters to the man. Like, he can just out-kit anybody if you know what you're doing with him. Exactly. If he's in the right hands.
Yeah, ranged, melee, tanky, DPS, assassin, range support, jungler. Just a little bit of everything there as we've got the last two picks here coming in from the blue team. And once again, they are indeed thinking this out very much so. They're being very meticulous in how they're thinking about their picks and bans here. And yeah, as they're hovering over Misfortune now, as well as that Cassidon. And those are locked in, actually. We're going to have, yeah, it looks like the mid Cass here.
Okay.
Which is interesting, actually.
Hmm.
As it looks like it might be a Lee Sin in the mid lane. Or if not Lee, then yeah. And so, I mean, normally that Cass picked up as a very, very good anti-mage mid lane, but maybe moving himself into a rough spot here in the beginning of the game. But nonetheless, that is going to be the teams. Once again, if you are just joining us, this is TowerDive.tv, the weekly League of Legends tournament here. This is the 41st one, and I'm Gil Frost, and this is Achilleos. And yeah, we're going to be entering into the slight delay here, but that final pickup there is going to, by Team Red, is going to lock in these team comps.
This is interesting. I do think that they are going to play the Lee Sin mid, but I think that it would actually be very interesting to see Rumble go mid, because sometimes people like to do that, and I think that it would just be an interesting switch up. Because I mean, not a lot of people do the Rumble mid pick, but I don't know. I personally, I'm hoping that we can see that today, because that's a really, really fun lane. He's got a nice little escape with his W, so it's pretty safe. He's got his slows and everything like that, so he can just get in there, harass, and if the enemy jungler comes in, he can just get right back out of there. So I guess we'll see what they decide to do, but I think that you were right with the Lee Sin mid. So
yeah, and the interesting thing about doing tournaments like this is, you know, these teams are not, you know, they don't have a ton of visibility, and so it's not like we've seen these teams play each other or at all, and so there's a lot of unknown variables, and so right now it seems that like there are, you know, a lot of standard picks, but these games are prone to a lot more surprises, and so we'll see. I wouldn't be surprised if we do see some interesting play out of these teams as we're now entering into the delay.
Yeah, it looks like, I mean, overall, looks like we just have some fairly standard picks. I think that Rumble would probably be the most out-of-the-box pick that we have in this match. I mean, obviously, you know, Vayne, very, very standard. Aatrox, ever since he's come out, people have just been abusing the heck out of his insane lifesteal. So I think that Rumble probably one of the least played, probably definitely the least played champion that we have in the current game. So that's always fun. I like to see when people pick these champions that we don't see terribly often. So I would love to see more, like it would ever happen, but I'd love to see more Heimerdingers and, you know, champions like that. Maybe a Mordekaiser here and there.
Right.
Malzahar or something like that. Get a little bit of a change up going on.
Yeah, well, let's get Riot. If you're listening, just keep those in mind for future patches. But yeah, the interesting thing I think coming in this game for me that I'm excited to see how this plays out is, you know, on the side of Team Blue, we've got a lot of just champions that want to dive into these fights, and then on the other side, you know, with Zyra and Lee Sin and Vayne, I mean, really almost all our champions really able to manipulate the battlefield, and you know, they're going to have a little bit of initiation there from Aatrox, but other than that, they have a lot of disengage. So in there, it's really interesting to see, you know, how can Blue Team infiltrate this team and really get to that back line, get to that Vayne, and handle that threat with all these options for disengage here.
The big problem for the Blue Team is going to be that Zyra ult. They're going to need to try to bait that out or get her to burn it and then engage after that. They will still have a Rumble ultimate to worry about at that point, because if they're going in, especially you know, if they're running through the jungle somewhere to try to get a pick or something like that, and Rumble happens to be there, you know, if they get channeled into a small passageway, Rumble's ult will just start ripping through them. But they just need to play smart, try to get those ultimates burned, and then just go in there and rip the purple team apart. That's really what they're going to need to do right here. So they're going to have to be very, very careful about picking these engagements. Like you said, you know, purple team, they're going to be able to disengage just so well. I mean, if they're getting chased, we have the Lee Sin kicks, the nice knock up for everybody. The Zyra ult again with the knock up. Aatrox, he can just jump right back out of there. Not to mention, I mean, he's just got a really powerful kit. He's able to kind of sustain and run at the same time. Vayne, she's got her tumbles for a little bit extra speed, and then she's also got her ultimate if she has to pop it in a desperate situation for that invis. So they do have a lot in their kit to work with. So Blue just got to be very, very careful. But like you said, they do have very powerful engage champions right now. I mean, we have Renekton for his slice and dice. We have Elise. She can rappel down onto whoever she needs to. I assume she'll be going straight for that Vayne, trying to burst her down before Vayne can do any real damage. We have Kassadin with his ult. He's just going to be trying to jump right in there and just start wrecking everybody. And then, of course, we have Thresh for his hooks, his pull, and he drop the box right on top of everybody. So both teams have some pretty immense strengths right now. So it's going to be interesting to see which ones can really play off of them the best and come out on top in this matchup.
Yeah, no, it's really good to see that intentional team building as well. And so we'll see as we're coming into the loading screen. Or I don't know if you're in the loading screen yet, or even if we can see that necessarily.
Yeah,
there we go. But I always like to talk about the skin vantage here, and it looks like I don't know. I mean, I'd have to go with Team Red on the skin vantage there. They've got that Heartseeker Vayne and that a couple more skins there. So I think that if I were to judge the outcome of this game purely by skins, I have to go with Team Red. But either way, we are into the game.
All right, so we are live in the match right now, and it looks like we're just going to have some fairly standard starts up, but actually having a pause come out here. So we'll get to the bottom of this one and see what is going on right now. Looks like somebody's complaining of a little bit of lag.
But either way, I mean, we are getting a little bit of a picture here into the level 1, and it looks like Vayne may be having the problem. I'm not 100% sure. But anyway, as far as the item builds, the opening item builds, I mean, Doran's Ring coming out there from Kassadin, and that is, I'm expecting there to be some pretty hard play around level 6 and in this early game to try to give this dive team comp here for the general team, the blue team. And so Karth is going to be pretty strong early on with that Doran's Ring in the mid lane, or wherever he goes, I guess.
Yeah, now we're seeing one of the big things that happened recently is we see just about Doran's blades on every 80 carry start ever now. I mean, it used to be, obviously boots pots a while ago, and then it went to like longsword 2 pots, and now it seems that regardless of who you're playing or who you're playing against, it seems like everyone just wants to jump in there and get Dorans. But with that pause getting removed, we are back into the match, and it looks like we might have an early scuffle here in the jungle. Blue warding out a little bit, and Lee Sin throwing out that E, but it's not quite gonna land. But blue team just gonna stick right where they were, not afraid at all, it seems.
Yeah,
so,
looks like we're gonna trade a little bit of vision here as Team Red does spot out that ward there, and so they are gonna feel fairly confident heading towards this blue side red buff, and they may go for a steal here for Lee Sin, but on the other side of things, looks like we may just trade red buff straight across the map here if Team Blue does choose to stay.
It looks like they're just gonna go in there, ward near the red, and back right out of here and make sure that they secure their own blue buff. Looks like purple team might try to stick around here and maybe secure this red buff here for a nice little early start. So we'll see what happens. We only have a few people popping their recall. Looks like Rumble, but purple's just gonna go ahead and back out here at the 140 mark and just say, you know what? It's not worth the risk if they come down. Let's just go get our blue and get a nice clean start here.
Yeah, well, and when you don't know what to expect from your opponent, I do see a lot of this where you just need to play safe and try to play your game and just try to get a lead. And when you take risks like jungle invades and buff steals, that can easily mean a disadvantage for your team at the start of a game where you really don't know what to expect. And so we have both teams being fairly conservative here, playing with the vision there, trying to get vision of their opponents, and just returning to it looks like a standard lane matchup here for both teams, as Kassadin is in the mid lane there with Lee Sin, Renekton top with Rumble, and then the duo lane in the bot, and of course the junglers. In there is actually General J Panda, takes quite a bit of damage there in the mid lane, brought to about half health, as Lee Sin is going to try to take advantage of that mismatch there in the mid lane.
Yeah, Lee Sin starting. I mean, he's starting off with the Dorn, so he's going to try to go hard here. He's going to try to leap in on this Kassadin. I mean, pre-6, Kassadin doesn't really have any escapes off of Lee Sin. He's got that slow with his cone ability, but it's not going to be enough because Lee Sin can obviously just jump in with his Q and just lock down, especially if he takes his E here at level 2. So it's going to be very, very difficult for Kassadin pre-6 to try to, you know, just even to farm, because Lee Sin's going to be able to jump in on him and harass him extremely well. So Rumble getting some harass here in the top lane.
Yeah, and it looks like General Motors is caught out just a bit. Bulldogs is going to get off the nice CC, and we actually see a teleport coming out here, but it is going to be first blood. That teleport is actually canceled out. It was a little too late, and General Motors goes down for first blood, giving that up to Team Red.
Very, very nice early gank right there. Aatrox making sure that he landed that knock-up, just locking down that Renekton. I mean, Rumble, we'd already seen a good amount of damage coming out, but it looks like the fight in the mid lane breaks out.
Yeah, and it looks like, yeah, Kassadin is going to go down the Ignite. Not going to be enough, though, as Eric stays in lane, going to pick up a few extra kills, and or minion kills, that is, and return to base with some gold.
Yeah, Lee Sin's kit, just like I said, it's very, very powerful. You want to ignite him, all he has to do is just pop his shield on himself, and that it will essentially absorb just about all of that damage, not to mention give him extra life regen. So, I mean, Lee Sin, it's going to be a really, really tough time for this Kassadin, and he's got to just try to sit back. I mean, he's already got, you know, he's already down 15 CS right now in the lane. He's sitting at only 6 minion kills, so his death, he's not going to be able to buy anything here. So that's not going to be good when he comes back in the lane.
Yeah, and right now all lanes are winning right now for Team Red, as in the bottom lane, actually, General Stomp takes quite a bit of damage. In the top lane, General Motors now still being pushed back underneath his turret, being brought very low as I'm So Milky milking his advantage here in the top lane, as actually Elise is coming into the top lane for a gank. General Motors does get in there. He's going to get off the stun, but Milky pops that speed boost. Going to try to get out of there. The stun comes out from General Lee. Flash pop there from I'm So Milky, and they may not have enough damage as General Motors takes one last look at I'm So Milky, but he's going to return under his tower safely and return to base. Overall, I mean, you know, they didn't get a kill off that gank, but Renekton is going to feel a little bit safer in this top lane for the time being.
Yeah, I mean, he's not far behind right now in minion kills. It looks like Rumble's been pushing most of his time towards harassing Renekton rather than just straight farming. But actually, Rumble not going to back. He's decided, you know what, I'm not going to give you these free minions, this free wave. I'm not going to let you completely catch up to me in CS. I'm going to stick around here. And you know what? I have this rejuve bead. I'm just going to wait for it. And then I'm going to just go right back in on you and do it all over again.
Yeah, in the meantime, Bulldogs is there. Aatrox looking out to get another gank here in the wings. I'm So Milky, though. Going to kind of ward off General Motors, but General Motors playing very conservatively, does not want to feed as they're already 2-0 here in this game. And looks like, though, they are going to go in. CJ Bulldogs gets off a nice slow, waiting for that flight, and does get it off. I'm So Milky now getting a lot of damage down, and Aatrox picking up another kill here in the top lane, and that's going to be 3-0 so far. Huge plays coming out here from Team Red and Aatrox specifically in this top lane.
Yeah, the Aatrox, he's just making sure that he gets in there. I mean, Renekton, if Renekton snowballs, he snowballs pretty hard. I mean, he does fall off a bit in the late game, but he can be very, very powerful early to late. It looks like we might have an engage breaking out right now on the blue turret and bot.
Yeah, it looks like General Lee wanted to get in there, and on that same token, Art Thief and Blingy wanted to get under this turret, and they were thinking about diving Incan Hero, but the good jungle there wards that off. Not much comes of that, but they did not lose that. They didn't have that tower dive here in the bot, so Incan Hero will be able to stay in this lane and continue to farm up. Although, and we haven't really been talking too much about this bot lane, but Misfortune down on Vayne, 32-49 farm right now, and it looks like yeah, they've just been having some trouble there, being forced under their own turret most of this game. And Thresh, I think he's hit just a few hooks, but nothing too eventful down there, as he's actually been missing a lot of his hooks. And I've noticed a few times, it almost seems like he's basically using it as cooldown. It's actually General Panda does get jumped on. Lee Sin jumping right under the turret. The kill is going to be picked up. And once again, another kill here in the mid lane. Aatrox just watched that one from the wings, and Lee Sin picking up his second kill of the game as General Motors actually goes down in the top lane. He is just too far behind now. And that is 3 deaths in the top lane. Now Rumble is feeling confident. He does not need any help from Aatrox. He has a firm enough advantage there with that Seeker's Arm Guard that he is now punishing this top lane very hard.
Yeah, I mean, purple team overall just playing fantastically right now. I mean, we're already seeing, you know, a 5-kill advance, blue team not being able to pick up any thus far in the game, so they really need to try to get back on that. I mean, right now the gold deficit, we're almost hitting a 4K gold deficit at 8 minutes into the game. This is not looking good for the blue team whatsoever. They need to play a lot smarter than they are right now. I mean, Renekton, where he was pretty even with Rumble, has taken a very significant CS lead, sitting at 44 to Renekton's 17. So Renekton just needs to try to, you know, safely farm. He needs to make sure that he's not pushing his lane at all. Otherwise, he's just going to keep getting ganked, not to mention Rumble already able to just shred through him by himself. So Renekton needs to make sure that he's just playing very, very passively and farming as best as he can. Same goes for just about every other lane here. I mean, Misfortune in the bot lane, she was getting chunked down by Vayne pretty well. So she needs to just abuse the range that she has over Vayne and make sure that she's just sustaining farm until she can get powerful enough to actually go in and try and do some actual damage. Same thing with Kassadin. I mean, we see that he's trying to abuse his silencing, but now, the Lee Sin's going to catch him out.
Yeah, forces that General Panda to flash out. It's not going to be enough. He tries to get in there, going to get off a lot of damage there, but it might not even going to be enough as Bulldogs pops that regeneration there. The Bloodthirst there is going to stay alive, and Elise is forced to come into this mid lane to try to defend this middle turret, but looks like that could be the first dragon of the game. Zyra does have that Vision Ward, and so they will very likely get a free dragon here. Thresh, Misfortune, and Elise, I don't think there's much they can do about this. Thresh going to try to get a clutch steal here, possibly, but with Lee Sin and team. Well, actually, they do get off some damage, but it's not going to be enough. Eric being brought very low, but they're going to get a free dragon in. It's 6-0, 14.5k to 9.1, and right now it's looking like Red has a firm grasp on controlling this game as Zyra returns to lane, and all members right now of Team Red showing off. Hardy Goldie is actually a huge... Blingy jumps in there and actually gets some damage off. Incan Hero tries to trade some damage back on Arthief, but it's not going to be enough as actually Elise is in the area. General Lee gets off a nice stun onto Arthief. Is going to jump in there. Misfortune is not in the area. She needs to get in there. The repel does come off, but it actually lands on a minion, so General Lee is going to be brought down. Blingy picking up that kill. Incan Hero pops that shield there. I'm going to try to get in there. General Motors, I guess, teleported to that top lane. Does pick up the kill onto Zyra. Now turning on to Blingy. Blingy trying to get in there. General Motors does not have enough, though, and it's going to be a triple kill for Vayne in this bottom lane, and that is not where you want those kills. 4-0 for Vayne right now.
Oh, immaculately played, but there was Kassadin just porting in on her in that bush right there and just finishing her off with the Q. Looks like she kind of just accepted that there was no way that she was going to be able to get out of there. So a good pickup right there. Kassadin getting some much needed gold with that kill, but at the same time, it looks like blue team, they're already lost their mid lane, and now it looks like Rumble here might be able to secure the top turret as well. So even though they managed to shut down that Vayne in the bottom lane, it's still just going to keep spiraling out of control for the blue team with picking up these 2 turrets, or, you know, the enemy picking up their 2 turrets. So this is just still not looking very good. They need to play off of those picks like they just got, but they also need to be able to hold their lane. So, I mean, Rennek porting down the bot to try to secure those kills, but he didn't really do enough. All he really did was get himself killed. So it wasn't really that great of a trade. And now Rumble, as we can see, he's just clearing the waves so they can't get by, so his can just push that turret without worrying. So Blue really needing to just, it looks like they're gonna need to just start collapsing on each other's lanes and try, and it looks like they might try to do that right now on top.
Yeah, it's actually General, the 3 generals that is here on I'm So Milky, and they're going to get off a lot of damage. Lee is in the area, gets that flash off, but General Lee was there as well. Gets that in there as General Lee does actually pick up that kill onto Rumble. Lee Sin, though, on the backside, picks up Renekton, and in the bottom lane, we had to battle the supports as actually Zyra picks up that kill, and now it looks like we may see the possible 3rd tower as 12-3. Vayne jumps in there, gets off a nice condemn. Incan Hero not standing much of a chance here as Blingy gets off a lot of damage, takes a few turret hits, but he will be fine. As actually it looks like Elise and Cassidy looking to try to get a pick off of this. Blingy low enough right now, but they do have a fair amount of vision around this area, so it looks like Team Red could be very safe there as Elise is going to try to jump in here onto Vayne.
Yeah, see that right there in bot lane. I mean, MF probably would have died either way, but she definitely could have taken Vayne with her. She has bullet time. She could have used that immediately after the sun wore off. Vayne was already worked low enough by the turret that the bullet time for sure would have killed her. So I'm a little bit confused why MF decided not to use her ultimate there. But maybe she was just so mind blown that she was being dove by, you know, a lone Vayne right underneath her turret. But definitely had the opportunity right now, just not really acting on, you know, what she could have done. So I don't know, just once again, some poor plays coming out from the blue team. They really need to get together with this and make sure that they're, you know, doing what they need to do. They're just not playing very well right now, as unfortunate as it is to say. I mean, as we can see right now, purple team already pushing in their mid lane. Only 2 people collapsing right now. Renekton trying to run down from the top lane, but it looks like Rumble might just dive in here.
Yeah, it looks like he's right underneath that turret. He gets CC'd there quite a bit by both General Panda and Lee. But he is going to go down there underneath his own turret. Actually, Elise picking up that kill. But once again, Lee Sin, action having all over the map, picked up a kill in the meantime onto that Thresh in the bot lane, and they're going to look for a red steal here. But it looks like Elise there with the smite picks up that kill. Zyra ulti does pick up some damage onto J Panda, but Incan Hero finally uses that bullet time. Not going to do enough though, as Blingy now popping that ultimate is going to get in there, going to try to get off some damage on enough damage on Incan Hero, is going to pick up the kill. Vayne picks up that kill, and then Elise in the meanwhile does pick up Zyra, but now General Lee is way out of position. Lee Sin jumping in there, the repel not going to be enough, is going to go down there. A delayed kill there for Lee Sin. And that is going to be overall a 2-for-1, as Zyra the only one to go down there for Team Red.
Yeah, I mean, they can get in here, they can sometimes get these picks off the purple team, but it's just not who they really want it to be. I mean, picking up a Zyra for 2 of your teammates, you know, being Misfortune and Delise, not a very good trade. Especially now that, you know, the purple team just managed to pick up that red buff that they were trying to steal in the first place. If we take a look at the gold lead, it's already extending into the 12K range. You know, 12.2K gold lead right now for purple. So it's just continuing to not look very good at all for the blue team. And looking at this Aatrox now, he is not scared of Renekton in the top lane at all. I don't think we've seen his passive burned once this entire game.
No, I have not seen it. Yeah, he still has it. It's actually General Lee. The Generals jump in there, going to try to get some damage off onto Ericon, but Thresh does not land that box onto anybody, so it's going to be a ult wasted there. As now Red Team is jumping back in. I'm So Milky pops that Zonia's. He is going to stay alive for now. General Lee trying to get that kill, is going to get off a lot of damage, is going to pick up the kill. Cassidy picking up the kill onto Rumble. Lee Sin, though, picks up the kill onto Thresh, and now it looks like Team Blue is way out of position there. General Lee going to go down. Bad support Zyra there, kill stealing that away from his Lee Sin. Is actually, it looks like Aatrox trying to get in there on Incan Hero, is going to pick up the kill, feeling very safe, still has that passive available, but it's not even going to need it as he escapes there unscathed. And once again, actually that's a 3 for actually, was that a 4? Did General Panda go down? Either way, it was a huge victory once again for Team Red, as they're going to pick up a turret off of this as well.
Yeah, I mean, picking up the Rumble, that's nice, I guess, but you know, it's just not enough. And unless blue team can do something very drastic very soon right now, I mean, purple just picking up Dragon, unless they can make a really sick Baron play, or, you know, a Baron steal, and then off of that manage to win a couple team fights and get an ace and, you know, really push and get an inhibitor here, I don't think that blue team's going to be able to do too much. And I mean, one of the things that would definitely help them is thinking about how they're going into these engages here. And Cassidy, he ulted forward into a Rumble with, you know, he had just about full heat and he was blowing his flamethrower. And I mean, it just ripped Cassidy down to about 25% health just off of that. So, you know, going into the team fights, they need to be smarter about how they're engaging here. I mean, once again, with purple having such an aggressive team and also just having a lot of disengages, They really need to think. They need to take the time that they were taking to, with their picks, and then apply that towards how their team fighting. It looks like we have a fight breaking out right now.
We do. It's actually going to be a 4v5 there, as actually possibly just a 3v5, as Zyra's actually back as well. So I'm So Milky, Eric, and Bulldogs trying to get in there 3v5, and they are going to pick up a kill onto Renekton, and taking a lot of damage though. Eric tries to escape with the flash, but the repel comes down from General Lee, and that's going to be a great play. However, it's not going to be enough, as they actually do pick up a a 5 for 3, or excuse me, 5 for 0 in a 5v3 situation, and that does not bode well, as they're going to push up this mid lane. General Stomp just now respawning, but it's not going to be enough, as they're going to be able to pick up a couple turrets off of this. All 3 members are brought very low, but wow, just an amazing team fight for Team Red here.
Yeah, it looks like they just wanted to kind of put that final nail in the coffin right there. I mean, showing off their sheer power and the control that they have in this match right now. Like I said, a 3v5 coming out with an ace and not suffering a single loss. Blue team, they managed to take Lee Sin very, very low. They managed to take Rumble, though. But, I mean, just with the Zonias, with Lee Sin sustaining this high amount of damage, they just couldn't get the kills that they needed to get, and Aatrox once again just sitting there swinging away with his giant sword. His passive was popped, but just not. They just couldn't do enough to try to get in there. It looks like Elise getting picked out here in the jungle.
Yeah, gonna try to escape here, but Zyra and Blingy are making chase, and yeah, it looks like Vayne gonna go and pick up that kill with a fair amount of ease there. Gonna go and back off after that. But I mean, in that fight, I mean, 3v5 was not a bad option. They did know that they had a fair advantage as far as, levels and gold and items, everything. But they honestly didn't even need to win that fight. I mean, even if they had traded 2 for 1, Vayne was in that bottom lane and ended up getting 2 turrets, and that would have been a victory for them no matter what. And so they were able to turn it into something even more than they even needed to with that ace as well. And right now they have over twice the gold, 25-6 in kills. And once again, if you are just joining us, this is Gil Frost and Achilleos, and we're here for the TowerDiveTV 41st weekly tournament, League of Legends tournament. And yeah, it is right now a fairly one-sided game. The snowball has been rolling.
Oh, yeah, it's just been non-stop rolling down the hill right now. I mean, as we can see, there's, 7-0 turrets in favor of red team. Just really, really huge, and I'm deciding to start calling them red team now to get in the groove with everybody else here. But they have the complete control right now of the blue jungle. If we take a look at the wards, a blue team has a few forward wards, but it's not enough to really secure themselves any vision. And now we have Vayne just +40 into mid.
Vayne just by herself. Incan is going to escape that ultimate, but from Zyra, but it's not going to be enough. It's a double kill picked up from Blingy, who's feeling very powerful there. But look at the farm, as this mid inhibitor and bottom inhibitor are both going to go down almost simultaneously. But triple digits across the board except for that support Zyra on the side of Team Red, but no one currently on Team Blue even encroaching on that 100 mark. Is actually a surrender does come out here from Team Blue, and that is going to be the first game done here for the TowerDiveTV 41st weekly tournament. Once again, I'm Gil Frost, and this is Achilleos. Stick with us. We will be back with more League of Legends action going on all day long. Let me know if you need anything. Otherwise, we'll talk to you later.